Okay, here we are with one of the biggest clubs in Bundesliga, RB Leipzig. There's really so many players to choose from, so many to talk about. If you have money to spend, this is a good one. This club is a factory of young potential that star for their team and then get sold off to other clubs and things like that. So if you're that type of scout, if that's the type of portfolio you want, this is the club you want to look at. I mean, just look over here. We see from a transfer market point of view some big numbers in the 40, 50s, so plenty of 30s, 20s, and things like that as well. So, I mean, some of their lowest players are still, 8, 10, 11 million, things like that. Not a lot of movement from a change point of view, only because, we know who these players are. They've been in the limelight and they're definitely up and comers and all of that. So nothing too dramatic. From a talent point of view, these guys are kind of nearing their prime. I should have highlighted some of these, but you can see that they're very playable. High 70s or low 80s are good young talent, but really look at the potential here. A bunch of 87s, 86, 85s. 84s, 82s aren't bad either, and their form is doing pretty well as well. So they're playing well, and they're getting the playing time and things like that. So the problem is that these guys are expensive. Everyone knows who most of these players are, and you're not going to find a whole lot of value here. So a good example is like Nikunku. So he is 51 million, potential of 87. He's been getting 63 over the last 5. He's in the high 50s over the last 15 and 40. But I mean, look at these prices, right? Just sort of through the roof. I mean, I'd argue that, him versus say Danny Olmo, who's been injured a bit here. So he's back, should be back actually pretty soon here. So thus hasn't played, but definitely more affordable. And, from a rating point of view over here on the spreadsheet, he's 55 million, again, 82 and 87. So this might be somebody you'd rather invest in, frankly, than Nikunku, which seems to be at sort of the top of his price point. Andre Silva is another one. So, but I mean, he's sort of in his prime or entering that at 25, 44 million. He's already ranked at 84 and up to an 85. But he's coming off the bench at the moment, so not really getting the numbers, but priced again, really, I'd say quite high for the rare market, but potentially for the limited, that's actually pretty reasonable value. And you can kind of go through all of these and just see that some great players, but whether you want to play or pay the money for them, for someone like Forsberg, who's a veteran, or a younger guy like Angelino. Again, you're just paying quite a bit. Maybe not so much in the limited. There's still some value there, but even still, just about everyone. And then what you have issues with is playing time. So Tyler Adams is a rising star with the U.S. as well as Brian Broby, both Americans, but just not really getting playing time so much, and thus their game week totals aren't going to be very playable, and their prices kind of reflect that. And whether you want to invest this kind of money into a player that's going to be a while till they see some playing time on a club like this, that might be tricky. So up to you. And I guess he's injured. Okay, early November. Having said that, I do have a couple guys that I've highlighted. So one is Gvardiol here. So only 19 years old, and this is what's exciting. I mean, this is a competitive club. He's battling for playing time and whatnot. He's played 100% of the last 5, 80% of the last 15. Now he's priced, quite high. So, but look at these numbers for a 19-year-old. Look at some of those up there. Of course, he's been up and down a little bit, but that's really impressive. And if you're into building a roster with really young players that are up and coming, this is a guy to target. And then Klosterman as well here. So, just on the cusp of worth 30 million, 25 years old, kind of entering his prime, still got a bit of growth here according to FIFA, but also just really steady. I'd say quite cheap on the limited market and frankly, relatively cheap in rare as well. But look at all these reds that he's capable of. Sure, there's been a bit of this as well. So maybe still coming into form for the season, but we can see what this guy can produce. And I'd say one of the few on RB Leipzig that is sort of value for money. It was tough to find them, I must admit. So there you have it. That's them. We're going to move on to, there's just a couple clubs left, really, and some of the biggest ones, of course, in Germany. So spreadsheet is below. My little affiliate link is below, which if you tap on that sends me a few coins from the guys at Sorare. And I get rewarded for doing this, which I'm having a lot of fun. So thanks for this. I appreciate you going through them. I don't know if you've watched all of them. Good on you if you have. Maybe you've only picked and choosed a few, but anyways, we'll keep doing this stuff. Talk again soon.